After I selected this range, I go to this what if analysis and it shows this scenario manager. As you can see, I don't have any scenarios here. I need to add them. Give it meaningful name to your scenario. I call this one original values. And then here you can describe what do you mean by original values. For example, you can make a comment here. Okay. And then it asks me, do you want to change these inputs, these values? I don't want to change them because these are my original values. So, okay. And it was added here. I added another one and I call it best case scenario. Again, because I selected my input range first and then I went to what if analysis, um, Excel automatically knows that I'm changing this range. But if you start with what if analysis, then you have to put your the changing cells or the inputs here. You can simply select it, or if it's your input values are located on different part of the Excel, you can simply select the cells and then separate them with a comma. Again, you can explain what you mean by best case scenario. My best case scenario would be I pay 1% APR, 1% interest, and the number of payments will be 96. That's how I define my best case scenario. It was added, and I added a worst case scenario as well. Again, you can explain it. My worst case scenario is that my APR is 9% and I paid in 12 months. So these are my three scenarios, and I go to this summary. And then this is important. Excel automatically knows that based on my inputs, it knows that my target or my output value is monthly payment. So it was already selected here that the cell is E3. But if it was wrong and you wanted to calculate something else, make sure that this is correct and you put the right cell for this value and say okay. And then Excel creates a new sheet here, calls it scenario summary, and I can see the results here. This is the result. As we expected, this is the highest because this is the worst case scenario, and this is the lowest because this is the best case scenario, and you can compare it to your original values. I get rid of this current values because this is original value scenario is actually our current value. Another thing is that if you look at these cells, you see that this one is the one that I named, and you see that how it's useful to rename your cells, especially your inputs. When you create a report like this one, if someone looks at it, then they have to come back to this sheet and then they see, okay, A3 is APR and E3 is number of payments. So if you already rename them, you don't have to rename it here, but you can do it here as well. This is APR and this is number of payments. And I adjusted this. You can select these and make it look better. You can use the cell styles. I just use bold nut, looks much better. And this is my PMT. Okay, we might want to highlight it. All right, looks much better now. Another thing, another what if analysis technique that you can use is using Solver. In asynchronous class, I explained how you can add solve in both Windows and Mac. Make sure you have it installed. Again, I go to this data tab and you see I have it here, Solver. So when you use Solver, when you want to add constraints on your input values, for example, you want to say that what is my monthly payment if the number of payments is less than 24, or what is the monthly payment if the APR is less than 5%, or you have certain conditions, like you want to say that calculate it for me, but remember that number of payments only can be an integer number, right? So you have conditions and you can't do it with scenario or goal stake. So you have to do it with solver. I click on it, I already used it, so it has my data here. I delete them to show you what you need to do. All right, so let me get rid of them and then I show you again. So it asked me, what is your objective? My objective cell is this one, right? I want to calculate the PMT. And it asked me, do you want to calculate the minimum, maximum, or you have a certain value? I say that I want to calculate for $1,000. Again, it asked me for the changing variables or my inputs. These are my inputs. And here's the most important part where you can add your constraints. I just add one constraint. You can do different things. You see, you can say it's greater, less than, equals, and integer is a binary. So here I only want to say that, okay, I want my number of payments to be an integer. So my monthly payment is $1,000, but just remember that I need an integer number for number of payment, and I add this. Now I have all of my variables, and then I click on solve. And then here to see the answer, and it's a solver found a solution, because sometimes it might not find a solution, which means that your constructs are not working or they're unrealistic, and you have to come back to solver and change them. I click on this answer and then okay. And then again, it creates a new sheet here, and I can see my answer here. It shows me the final value, and as you can see, it's for APR is 0.35. I can highlight it so you can see my final value for the APR. I can also get rid of these cells because I already have their names here, so looks better with the when you name your variables, right? When you come back to this sheet again, you will see that solver has changed your values. So remember this when you want to, now that all of my values in these two tables have changed as well, right? So just remember that when you use the solver, it's going to change the your original values with the solution, right? All right, so one final thing that actually I missed, I wanted to show you how you can give a custom name to a cell. For example, I want to change this one to PMT because this is going to be easier to read. As someone is looking at this table, they know this is APR, this is number of payments, but I need to use this number, but I also want to give it a name, right? So what I can do, I go to this number tab here, click on this one, number format, and then I go to this custom, and then go to this general, and here type the name of the name that I want to show on that cell within quotes, and PMT, and then double quotes. Okay, now I have here PMT while Excel is still using the number.